We're going to start the webinar right now. So, hi everyone who joined us today for the webinar on Gutenberg presented by Marco. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Anna with GreenGeeks. GreenGeeks is a 300% green energy web hosting provider, which essentially means that we put back 3 times the amount of energy that we consume into the green in the form of renewable energy. A few notes about this webinar. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A section and Marco will answer them at the end of the presentation. If you want to introduce yourself in the chat or just talk among each other, make sure you choose the option panelist and attendees, otherwise it's only going to go to us. And if you want to get up because you have something else going on, don't worry, because we are recording all of this, and so we will send you a recording next week. Also, I don't know if you got it in the email that we send, the reminders at the end of the webinar. If you stay for the end, we'll do a raffle for 2 free EcoSite Live hosting accounts for 12 months. So we hope you stay and follow us during this webinar. So Marco is going to talk about Gutenberg's blocks and WordPress editing experience in Gutenberg. So I'm going to introduce Marco. Hi, Marco.
Sure. Hello, everybody. I am Maro Berrocal. I am a WordPress developer out of Costa Rica. I work with GreenGeeks in Partner Relations program, and I also do custom theme and plugin development for clients all over the world. I am a lot into the teaching stuff due to this pandemic. It has been a fantastic ride. And well, I'm excited to be back because last time we did it on a Friday, and I think the topic perhaps was a little bit intense, which is why I have a new dynamic for you all. I'm asking you kindly if you go into the chat room and suggest a few things that you would like to know more about WordPress, and we're going to see if we can do a webinar about it, because there's so much going on with WordPress, and I honestly believe that there's room for everybody. So if there's a specific topic that you can think of, feel free to suggest it, and we'll take a look at it, and then chances are we're going to come up with something. All right. So I'm going to go back to some of the WordPress basics on which I am going to discuss the Gutenberg experience. Okay. So without further ado, let's get started. I am going to lose contact with all humans for the next 2 hours. What are we going to discuss today? What are we going to learn today? We are going to learn about Gutenberg as a theme, as a content editor. We're going to discuss the differences between Gutenberg and the classic editor. We are going to discuss the usage of blocks. Now, this is not a techie talk on which I'm going to actually discuss as to how to create your own. We are just going to discuss the anatomy of a block, what is it made of, and what the options are within the editor. We are going to take a look at Gutenberg patterns. Some patterns are enabled by default based on the theme that you have, that you're using. So we're going to discuss that a little bit. And we are going to create a nice little layout using our 2020 theme. We are going to create something basic. If we have time to finish it, I'll try to go as fast as possible so that you guys can actually see, what the real future is going to look like when it comes to Gutenberg. Okay, so without further ado, what are we going to need aside from your GreenGeeks account? That's not 100% required. It's just a little bit of advertising I put in there. So you're going to need a WordPress site. You can need to work it locally. If you follow my webinars, we've covered that, or you can have it online. It's up to you. Any theme and plugins are okay. Just a side note though, I'm going to use the 2020 theme, and that is more or less a theme that comes shipped in with WordPress. So if you want to mimic the same layout that I'm going to do, it's going to be a little bit more difficult if you use other themes out there. So if you have the 2020, that's great. If not, chances are results may vary. So why are we going to speak about Gutenberg? I mean, why is this so important? To put it in perspective, I would say it's one of the most important changes WordPress has had in the last couple of, I would say 15 years, possibly. It's so important. We're still doing webinars about it, even though the software released 2 years ago. It was really controversial at the time because there were some politics involved in this change. There was some business also in as to why Gutenberg was implemented. It was a business. It was a strategic decision made by some people within the WordPress community, and not everybody was in favor of it. And it's also controversial because when it went actually live, a lot of sites broke and a lot of people were angry and a lot of people didn't like it. So, we still have people who are very adamant about not using it and they're sticking with the classic editor. So it was really, really controversial at the time. I remember I was in WordCamp US when the founder of WordPress, Matt Mullenbeck, was there saying, hey, we just went live with Gutenberg, and he got roasted with a lot of questions about it. I think he was he was really diplomatic about it, But again, I also think that there's also some human emotions involved in the fact that people are sometimes really, really afraid of change, and they don't quite take it so well if something is working. But truth of the matter is, and this is my opinion about it, I absolutely love Gutenberg. I think it's one of the best pieces of software WordPress has actually built in many time. I mean, I love everything there is about WordPress, and maybe I'm just a fanatic or a fanboy who's going to agree to everything. I do disagree with the politics and stuff like that, but I actually think that it was an important decision that had to be made because WordPress, like it or not, it is competing against other platforms out there. So I think the change was actually positive. So why should you know Gutenberg? Why should you know about it? I think you should know about it because it is going to be the future. This piece of software is here to stay, no matter how many people think it's horrible or that they're never going to use it in their lives again. I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people will be. So I think it's going to be the future. It is the direction WordPress is taken. Like I said, it was a business. There was some business strategy involved with it, and WordPress is getting a lot of popularity when it comes to site building. As you may well know, there's the code aspect of it and there's design aspect of it, and not a lot of people are good with coding, and that's perfectly fine. But WordPress wants to cater that segment of people who actually don't know how to code and they want to create custom layouts. There's other plugins that do the job, like for example Divi, Elementor, Beaver Builder, but there's also other platforms that you can actually do that out of the box, such as Wix or such as Squarespace, I think it's the name. So as you can see, WordPress is getting a lot of competition. It's getting some competition out of it. And that's why I think it's a good decision to make, because you can't stagnate. You can't say, you can't be arrogant about it and say, okay, we power a third of the web. We're not going to listen to anybody. I mean, I think people who use these type of plugins and builders, such as Elementor. I mean, we even have webinars about it, and we will have webinars about it in English as well. So stay tuned. I think it's something that's really, really popular, and I think people use it, and you shouldn't underestimate what people want. I mean, I'm a developer myself. I actually do the plugins and themes from scratch. I do the code, but I can't put my feelings towards the hard data, which is the fact that people absolutely love doing sites using site builders. So you got to cater that. You got to listen to your people, and you got to move forward. And if you think about it, all the big platforms like Facebook, Google, Twitter, and the likes, there are a hybrid of things, and they evolve. Software evolves, software matures, and software moves into new directions. And I think the classic editor had been there for like 15 years, and I think I think only my dog is older than that. So it was time to change. So no matter what you hear or read about it, it's a good positive change. And this webinar is going to be to discuss a little bit about it, and so that you can actually get familiar with blocks and you can start fiddling with it, and you can actually start saying, okay, this looks good. I mean, I may be able to kick off a project using Gutenberg as my go-to editor builder for some projects that may suit the need. I mean, this is part of the reasons why we do webinars, is to give you the tools, to give you the the different knives within the Swiss Army knife for you to make decisions and say, okay, I definitely want to do this. All right, so I am talking a lot this webinar, but I actually promise we're actually going to do this. So what is Gutenberg? And I'm sorry about the typo there. I missed an A. So it's an editor on, oh my God, I actually need to do this. So I'm sorry, because I'm really obsessed about on it. It's there, right, basically. Yeah, there you go. Even yeah. So it's basically an editor. It's an editor on steroids, basically. I don't know if you can actually look at the image, but you know, Gutenberg is on the left, and the current editor, it's really old, it's not the classic editor, is on the right. So you know, it's an editing, it's a rich editing experience. And going back into our example of Facebook and Twitters and Googles and the likes, the web has evolved into a reactive, I'm not saying the language, it's in a reactive manner on which I actually do an action and I get instant feedback about it. So I don't know if you guys know this, well, I'm sure you have, but if you actually give a like on Facebook, it's instant, it's there. If you actually comment, it's instant, it's there. It's no longer the whole type a message, hit submit, go, give me the response, that sort of experience. So Gutenberg is a really reactive experience when it comes to interacting with the piece of software. So if you click on something, you have a paragraph, you implement it, you have different options to choose from, and it changes as you start interacting with different blocks. So it's a really, really rich editing experience. It talks back to you as you're doing things. The classic editor was more like a Word processing document, you know, Microsoft Word, you know, where you have the field where you can actually type stuff, and you have the buttons at the top that do stuff. And again, I don't want to criticize it. It's just that, you know, when the classic editor was conceived, I mean, it was a different time altogether. I mean, it was 2006, 2007. So now it's 13 years after, and you know, the web has evolved into something that is more reactive, more interactive. I'm sorry, more you know, feedback on the go as I'm doing stuff. So Gutenberg it's exactly that. So yeah, so that's basically what Gutenberg is. The name comes, for those of you who are history buffs such as myself, the name comes from Johannes Gutenberg. He's the guy who invented the press. It was a revolutionary invention at the time, you know, inventing press, because accessing to literature back then was something that was only accessible to the rich. So his invention allowed people to have access to, you know, reading material, and that in turn, you know, educated the masses. You know, it was a huge invention at the time. So I think that was a little bit over the top when they codenamed this Gutenberg, because they kind of wanted to mimic the whole thing. But I actually think it has made some changes. So Gutenberg is basically an editor on steroids. So you can actually do anything with it. You can, like I said, in the future, you are going to be able to do full-fledged, full-page layouts on your WordPress site right there and then. Okay, so that's really, really cool for people who actually want to do that. For people who don't, well, they don't. They have the other option like I do, and you can actually code your stuff and do your magic behind the scenes. So I think both will coexist. You know, I think both will coexist. Personally, I'm moving more towards the Gutenberg direction because I think it's a fantastic piece of software. It's built on JavaScript, on reactive, and I think that is the future as a developer as well. So, you know, why not? So to recap, it's an editor. It's just a way it's for you to type stuff and to do your blog posts and add stuff like videos, images in a more interactive kind of way. Okay, so what are the advantages of using Gutenberg? The advantages are, like I said, the content is intuitive and it's great for newcomers. I absolutely think this is true. People who are newcomers will love the piece of software. And again, I should have revised this or sent it to Anna. So that's a mental note for me, because I'm looking at this thing Apple's doing, which is the shortcakes. I don't know what was that. The content is intuitive and it's great for newcomers. I think that's really true. People absolutely love that. People who are new, they will say, "Oh, this is really nice. This is really easy to use." The second item I would say it's a true WYSIWYG experience. Now, for those who think, what is that? WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get experience. This is a term that was coined many years ago, on which it basically means that what you see is what you get. So the editor has the ability that what you're actually seeing on the editor is what you will actually see on the site. And that's another key difference between the classic editor and the Gutenberg editor, which was the fact that with the Gutenberg, with the classic editor, you had to actually write the content, that you had to hit save, you had to update your post, and then you had to go to the page and refresh it to see the results, because the theme and the editor were just different entities. Gutenberg wants to change that, and they want to actually bake in the whole layout, the whole visuals of it within the editor, so you can actually see for yourself what's going on. So I think that is really, really a true what you see is what you get experience. And again, some people absolutely love that. They crave about it. They say, "Oh my God, yes, this is the best." And some people will say, "Yeah, I hate it." Again, I think it's really cool. No need for shortcodes. A shortcode, to summarize, is a piece of code that it's locked in between brackets. It's brackets. I don't know the term of English. It's like the little things, not the curly brace. I think it's brackets. So there's no need for shortcodes. So shortcodes are like pieces of text that are between brackets, and they actually execute something behind the scenes for WordPress. A lot of theme and plugin developers relied on this in order to put their stuff right into the editor. This is exactly what caused the sites to break, and this is exactly why a lot of people were upset. So because when Gutenberg went live, all these shortcodes stopped working, and people were like, "Oh my God, I don't like you, WordPress." I'm not in these nice terms, of course. We are live and we're doing webinars, but you get the gist of it. People were really, really upset. So there were no need for shortcodes. Eventually, Gutenberg, the editor, the WordPress team, added the functionality for you to have actual shortcodes. So I still don't see what the hate is all about if you can actually do that. The advantage, the fourth advantage, I've mentioned it, so I'll mention it again. This is going to be a builder in the future. I don't know how long, but it's going to be a full-fledged builder. It's going to compete with Elementor. It's going to compete with Divi. And so I think competition is great. And, Divi and Elementor, I'm sure they're behind the scenes saying, "Okay, we're going to pump this baby up so that people don't use Gutenberg and they actually use our plugin." So I think competition is great. It's better for users. It's what makes things strive. So Gutenberg is going to be a full-fledged builder in the future. Disadvantages: not everything in the world is great. For everything good, it's bad. It's a bit hard to use. I know I said it's easier and intuitive, but again, it's an intimidating piece of software sometimes. And when you see it, you're like, "Oh my God, what are all these options? What am I going to do?" Et cetera, et cetera. It has some conflicts. It still does up to this date. Again, for people who are on legacy WordPress installations and they actually hit the update now button, sometimes their stuff might break, sometimes it might not. So it's really unreliable piece of code. And that's also part of the reasons why people were so upset about it, is because WordPress used to, or Matt Mullenweg used to have in his ethos that WordPress is going to be as backwards compatible as possible. And with Gutenberg, he kind of, I have to be honest, he kind of said, he kind of broke that promise, because it broke a lot of sites and a lot of people were angry. So some questions you may have about it. If you don't, that's good. Do I have to use it? The answer is no. You don't have to use it. The classic editor is still available. You can switch between the two. That plugin, what it does is exactly that. It allows you to switch from classic to Gutenberg and vice versa. So you don't have to exactly use it. Any theme will do. Will any theme do? Yes, any theme will do. But again, what you see on one side may be different to what you see on the other. So, that's really it. The last two are copies, because I was, So let's get rid of that. All right. Okay, cool. And wait. Get out of the way, please. Okay, so how does Gutenberg work? How does it work? The keyword here is block, the block. So everything is a block. So I don't know if I heard this term somewhere where everything is X or everything is Y, but I'm going to have to coin it. I'm going to have to repeat it. So everything is a block. So a paragraph is a block. When you insert an image, that's a block. When you insert a gallery, that's another block. So, and when you insert something within another block, that's also another block. It's a grand block and has a child block. So everything you can think of when you're interacting with the software, you can think of it as a block. And every block will have its options for it to be customized on the spot. So yeah, I mean, it's really Matrix-esque concept here. So, for that, we're going to get going. I'm actually going to exit here. And now we're going to actually do stuff, okay? So again, I have the, let me put Anna here. So I have the, whatchamacallit? I have the WordPress site I've been working on for so long. It has a lot of stuff. It's actually starting to look like a real WordPress client site with so many plugins and stuff that I'm not using. But hey, it's a sandbox, so we can do pretty much what we want with it, all right? So if we go here and we refresh, we have this god-awful looking stuff. I think this was part of our previous, I think it was the Git webinar we had, so where I actually did some stuff. So for that, let's switch back to the 2020 theme, and we're going to do exactly that. So we're back on it, and let me go back, let me refresh. So we have something here. I'm going to have to change that again. So now we are going to change this. I've decided this time I'm not going to work with hosting. Because I don't want to design something based on hosting. So I'm going to design something based on what I do. So let's say I'm a fellow WordPress developer. So this is going to be my developer homepage. Hi, I am Marco, and I am a developer. Okay, hi. Okay, hi, I'm Marco. I'm just going to put it like this. Oh, hi, I'm Marco. Okay, there you go. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to start explaining stuff in a bit. So let me go back and let me go to settings. Let me go to reading, because now I want, hey, I am Marco, to be my homepage. So I want that. I want to save that. And I should refresh, and I have this, right? So a couple of things here before we start diving into Gutenberg. If I go through appearance, appearance, and I go to customize, I'll have these options here on which I can actually put stuff. As you can see, you have the little pencil here where you can actually edit this stuff. This is stuff that is not Gutenberg related, but again, it has some of the stuff that I can actually, fiddle with it in order to change it. As you can see, my designing skills, I did this horrible red. I don't know how I did that. But, it has this widget over here. I think I did it because I pushed some CSS. I'm sure I did. And there we go. So let's get rid of that. And let's publish that. I said no code. I promised that. And that's the last piece of code you'll see. So I just wanted to highlight that because, we are going to work strictly with the editor. Everything that's beneath hi, Marco, I'm Marco, and this thing over here, like this little bar. Wait, I exited. This little bar over here, right? Or actually, I am incorrect. I'm actually going to work within the edit section. This section over here, this is exactly what we're going to look for, okay? So we are now ready to go. And as you can see, one final note, the plugin that I told you guys you need to activate is if you go to plugins, and let's get rid of all these advertising. So if I go to plugins over here, you'll have the classic editor come up first. As you can see, a lot of installs, a lot of positive reviews, and a lot of stuff. WordPress, I have to say though, word to the wise, in case you're still relying on it, WordPress has put a deadline on this, and they are going to continue. They're going to continue updating this software. I think it's until 2022. I'm not sure if it's that or 2021. It's either one. But what I want you to know is that at some point in life, they're going to discontinue these because it makes sense. I mean, you're not going to, put your resources into maintaining a piece of software that it's getting older and older if the business direction is going to be that. So what probably will happen is that, somebody I'm sure will grab this project and they will start working it elsewhere. So that's probably the fate of it. So the classic editor, once installed, you can go to settings over here, and I think you can go to writing, and you can actually toggle these if you want the default editor for all users to be the block editor or the classic editor. Just another note, when I say block editor, I may mean Gutenberg and vice versa. Allow users to switch editors, yes or no. Pretty straightforward stuff, pretty stuff that you should know if you followed all my webinars thus far. Okay, so let's go back into our homepage, and let's go back into Hi Marco on the front page. For those of you who have never seen it, okay, so this is the editor. This is the Gutenberg experience. Let me close this over here. So this is how my editor looks. If I hit the little arrow over here, a bunch of stuff are going to open. And when I said think of everything as blocks, that is exactly what I meant. So all of these are blocks. If I hit the browse all, it's going to open all these options. It's a lot of options. For this webinar, we're not going to discuss all of them. I'm just going to discuss some of them so that you can actually see how cool it looks. Okay, but let me go back a little bit again so you can actually see the classic editor. The classic editor, this is a page that is timeless. So if I click over here, this is going to open this. Now, this looks very, this looks a little bit like Word, and this is a shortcode. This is exactly what I told you guys. So as you can see, when I'm writing stuff, I have to write it. This is really like using Word. I have to like Word, Microsoft Word. So if I want to change something, I got to highlight it. I got to go here. If I want to add a title, I have to hit enter title here. I have to select it. I have to go here. So this feels a lot like Word. So adding images is cumbersome. All that stuff, it's just stagnant, But again, some people like it. Other people will hate it. But I'm just saying, here you can take a look, and this is exactly how it looks. Okay, so this is about Gutenberg, not the classic editor. So up we go. We're going to go back. We're going to hit save, and we're going to go back to pages. So there we are. So everything is a block, I said, right? So start writing things. By default, the paragraph block is what's going to be done. So by default, the paragraph editor will be used. Okay, so what that means is that if you see, like I said previously, when you hover, things will open. So if I highlight this, I can go over here, I can add a link, I can do like this, and it's going to respond to stuff as I type. It's really, really cool. I love this. I can change that. I can strike through. I can add an image to it. There's a bunch of options I can actually do for this particular block. So every block I'm configuring has different options. Like for example, here I want to align this to the right, so I can align this to the right. I want to align it to the left. I align it to the left. So if I open this little three little dots here, this is going to open nothing yet. If I open the gear icon over here, this is going to open my options. Now, we went over the document stuff already in previous webinars. I think it was the content one or the intro one. I don't remember. But we never touched the block one. I never said anything. It's because I was saving it for this one. No, I'm just kidding. It's just that, every block that I use, if I hit enter over here and I say, okay, now I want to add a heading. So I just type here, hello, I am just a developer. So this is just a developer. So every block, if you could see my window on the right, every time I put a block, this will automatically change. So this will automatically change. And my block configuration is independent of each other. So that's why I said, think of everything as a block. Everything is going to be a block. Everything is going to be configurable. I can drag this little dude like this. It's really cool. Can I do this with my mouse? If I can, I absolutely love WordPress. No, I can't. So if I hit this over here, I can actually do that like this. Or I can I grab my mouse and do that? Yeah, I can. Oh, I love this. So if I grab my mouse over here, I can just drag that, even though my mouse skills are not that great. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Great, there we go. So as you can see, you can interact with that. You can actually use your mouse. You can drag stuff around. I mean, that's for people who are used to use builders. This is going to feel really, really familiar. For those who have not, such as myself, you clearly saw I'm not used to dragging stuff around. But like I said, everything is a block here. So when I click that, I can change the settings. I can change my stuff to a larger font. I can change it to a custom size. I can fiddle with the color. And I can actually start doing stuff, and I can really start, manipulating things. So if I want to do a background color of this, and it changes to white, which I thought was really cool, and let's say I want to change this to that, I change it exactly to that. So that looks a little bit bad. My design skills are not that great with the editor yet. I haven't really mastered that, even though I designed pretty good. But I can hit Command Z or Z, or Control Z and C for Windows, so I can actually go back and say, okay, I don't like this. So the thing I want you to take note of is exactly all these options that show up here. So if I go to Advanced, I can add HTML anchors. Oh, that's really cool. So anchors have to do with the semantics of the HTML tag. So you can add specific classes in case you have a style sheet running somewhere else. But the key takeaway here is that the block will open its own advanced options. Now here, coincidentally, both the paragraph and the title have the same advanced options, but this is not necessarily true for other, for other blocks out there. So let's say, for example, let's do something really cool. I don't know, what should we do? We should do a best movies of 2000 of. Okay, so we're going to do that because I'm a huge movie guy. So the best films of the decade, we're going to rank them, and I'm just going to insert them. I disagree with the list, by the way, but I can't do much about it. So I want to drag this stuff. Hold on. That's maybe the movies example is not the best one. So I'm going to go to the Streamline icon site. This is a site that I use for my icons. So what we're going to do is hide this. I want to go to the Streamline app over here. At some point in the future, please. Thank you. And launch the Streamline app. This is a really cool pack of icons that I bought many years ago. And let me log in. What was my account? Hey, welcome back. Thank you. Hey, oh, I need to change that later. So if I go over here, I go to Streamline light icon. So let's say we're going to discuss about the fact that I'm a designer, right? So we're going to discuss, I want to do design. I want to have a design icon. So let's say I like this one. So I'm going to save this one. I prepped this up for this webinar. Let me go back here. And you find the window. Okay, it's going to look split. I don't know why, but let's just leave it like that. And let me move this little bar here because I think you guys can't see it, but I can. Okay, so let me move that over here. Let's do Gutenberg. And I have this color scheme, right? This is the color scheme that I like. So I'm going to use this. And how can I change this so that this is not in the way? Let me close this. Oh, well. Okay, so let's do this. Let's click on this little guy over here. I need to have, what I want to have my Finder here. I can't seem to do that without going back here. Every time I do that, I go back here. So let me go back. Let me go this way, and let me do hit. And let me drag this over here. See how it happens. Okay. And my computer is not responding well. Okay. Come here. Come here. New Finder window. So every time I do that, it does this, which is exactly what I don't want. Let me see if I can drag this guy. I can't drag him. It's a shame. Well, you guys are not being. What I'm going to do is Oh, well, it's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work without you guys looking, and I'm going to look at the different monitor. Here we go. So let's do that then, eh? And let's do this. Let's do that, and let's move this to here. Firework. Mac, why are you doing this to me? Okay, it's fine. So we have to get going. So can I use this as a hex? You know what? I'm just going to use different colors. Use value color generator. I'm just going to download this. And yeah, I'm going to download this as, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download them as SVGs, and I'm going to actually move them so that, let me move that. What's the name of this? Let me see. Streamline icon. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do it here on a computer where you got on the other monitor, where you guys can't see that. Okay. And yes, there we go. So cool. Let me close this here. And let me open this again. So design, I want to do develop. So I'm a developer, and I'm going to use this. It's a little tacky, but okay, let's use that one. Let's download that. I want to save that file. And now I want to use let's say I also do SEO. What gives? So let's do this one. I'm going to download this one. So now I have 3 little icons, little cool icons that we're going to use. All right. So my objective with this was that now I want to add a gallery. So going back into a Gutenberg experience, I want to add a gallery. So I want to upload files. As you can see, the options completely changed, right? So I want to have this to be a wide width. I want this to be a line right. I want this to be a full width. It's up to you. I'm going to use align center, which is the default one. And again, the takeaway here is that the advanced options are going to be different. So now I don't have a lot of options here other than that, you know, I want to, you know, that's really it. I only have these options over here. So I'm going to upload, and I'm going to go with Gutenberg, and I'm going to go with, I used SVG over here. I fiddled that. So I have to go back into Streamline Icons and Streamline Icons. There we go. Go back into the app. Go back over here and do the design one. It's just that I saved it as SVG. I forgot to do it as design. So let's do design again. And I think it was, let's just pick anyone. I think it was this one. Right? Let's say this one, right? This one looks cool. So I'm going to download it as PNG. It's just that I downloaded this SVG. Pro tip while we're at it. Yeah, SVGs are better. They're more crisp. They're vector files that you can actually embed on the web. I use SVG for icons a lot. So that's why I had in my workflow to use that. So now that we're finally done, I can actually go ahead and insert these and just tag them along, you know? So what this will do is exactly that. So once I hit update, I can actually divide it into columns. So do I want to have 2? Do I want to have 1? I think 3 looks really cool. 4 is not possible because it's only 3 images. Do I want to crop the images? Yes, I do. Do I want them to link to something? No. As you can see, settings will change every time I'm interacting with this piece of software. So that's exactly what makes it so cool. You know, in this case, I don't want to remove it. And let's say I want to drag this stuff, and now I hit back. I go over here. What did I do? I missed the developer, not the SEO one. Where is it? Here you go. No, I have the design one. Here you go. So let's say I want the design to be at the left. So I move it like that. And as you can see, I'm interacting with this stuff, and it feels really, really natural when I do that. So if I hit update, this is exactly what I'm going to see if I go ahead and refresh and do it over here. So it looks really, really nice. It's a fantastic piece of software that allows me to exactly do that. So I can do these little layouts, if you think about it, and start, you know, working my way through. So let's say, for example, I want to do this. I want to have a full width. So I go ahead and do full width, refresh, and then I go over here. And now from my design perspective, this looks a little bit bad because it's not properly aligned. So let's see if we have the option to do that. Let's see. do we have an align button? No, we do not. So as this, you would have to use actual CSS to target that. But again, like I said, Gutenberg is not a full-fledged editor by now. It's slowly but surely going into that direction. So let me see what white width does. I go over here, go over there, and why do I have that? Let me delete this. Oh, right. Silly me. White width. So if I go here and I update this and refresh my page over here, I can have, okay, this looks a little bit better for me. The hi, I'm just a developer. Again, it looks a little bit odd to me. That's because it's aligned to the left. So I'm going to align it to the center, and I'm going to hit refresh. And when I go over here, it looks slightly better. Again, from my design point of view, I think it should be even more so. But the takeaway here is that for you guys to look at and say, oh, I can add pretty much everything I can think of. Let's say you want to add a list of things. So item 1, item 2, item 3, and so forth. So again, if you go back to list, you have the block options over here, and you have pretty much the same options that you had before you were doing like the paragraph stuff. So in here, I decided to do this as a group. We'll get to there in a bit as to what groups are. But over here, for example, let's say I wanted to convert to an order list. I do that. If I want to ident something, I ident it. And again, it's really, really, really a nice piece of software. So if I, for example, say, oh, okay, I want this list to appear at the top. With the classic editor, you have to actually copy and paste that stuff. With this one, you just hit the little arrow here, and it's going to move that stuff to the very top. And you just hit save, and you're done with that. So a few things that I wanted to highlight. Oh, let's do a few more blocks. So let's say, for example, we want to do a quote. Let me use one. Let's say, to know of others is wise. Of others is wise. To know of oneself is enlightenment. Enlightenment, I misspelled that. So this is a quote I use all the time in my personal life. And, you can see, you can add the quote, you click over here, you click the little gear icon, and now different options come. Like, for example, these styles over here, I can actually do it like this, or I can do it like that. And I have the advanced options and so forth and so forth. But what I can't do is, what I could do is, if I want to get fancy, I can't, like, for example, change the background color of this, which I think is a bummer. But again, how are these blocks determined? Like, for example, why can I do this with this one and I can't do that stuff with the other ones? That's really depending on who the block creator is. That person will give you what accesses are you be able to perform with it. So this opens up also another possibility. So let's say you want to have a different block that handles this. Can I download this as a plugin elsewhere? And the answer is absolutely so. There are other plugins out there that it will install blocks for your particular WordPress install. It's just a matter of looking and fiddling with it. The same exercise or the same dynamics that you have with plugins. You install it, you fiddle with it, you play with it, you see if it works, and if it does, great. And if not, it's time to move on to the next one. So in my situation, I like this. So now I think it's okay, and I think it looks gorgeous. Let's fiddle with other blocks. So let's see here. Let's open that, and okay, we have some design buttons. Like, for example, you have the design button here, and click and buy my stuff now, and buy my stuff. So again, you go over here, you click on it, you click the little gear icon here, and as you can see, you can fiddle with it, and you can put it as a light icon. You can actually fill it. You can play with the color if you want to have the text color be like this. For me, it's that. Man, I am really, really doing bad with the spelling, so my apologies. If you want to align this allows you to do it like that. I want to align it to the center. And I click on this, and for example, do I want to add a border radius to my button? Yeah, it looks good. I like border radius. What I can't seem to change, here we go. I want to change my background color. In this case, I want it to be a cool color that I'm working on. And let me move this to here so you guys can see it. For example, I want this to look a custom color. I like the red of BF 2424. And yes, that's a little too red. For example, I want to go over here and change this to, I don't know, custom color 364 C59. So, oh, it looks fantastic. So, oh, actually, no. So if you like that, and again, takeaway here is for you to see that the settings, the actual block settings change for every block that you handle. So one cool little feature, and now we're going to get a little bit into the more specifics because I don't want to, this webinar is not about, fiddling with this stuff all the time. Cool features. If you click on these little more options here, you can actually either duplicate this. You can duplicate this, but I can't see this block over here. Hold on. You have this option. So if I click this little icon here, there's one thing you need to take into consideration. If I click on here, do you see this little blue border? That means I am editing the master block. As you can see in the advanced column, I have the master block selected. But if I click inside, this is going to change because I am now editing the button block. So remember when I said that everything is a block? That's exactly what this means. So every time I click on something, I need to know exactly what it is that I'm fiddling with it. So now I'm fiddling with the button wrapper block, so to speak. So let's say this is a nice little tool. I can add this to my reusable blocks. This way, all the buttons that came formatted with the block editor, I can actually use this as my own block. So I add this over here, and I'm going to name this my custom button. So what it does is it's going to save that. And now if I go over here and search for it, and I just type in custom, I have my custom button nowhere to be found. Hold on. I go over here and I come to button. It's over here. So you put it here and you just insert that and you have it done and ready with it. So again, it's really a cool feature that you can actually have when you're designing stuff. Those who are familiar with Divi or Elementor, you should know that you can actually use the stuff that you're going to reuse over and over and save that. So Gutenberg allows you to save that stuff and edit this and make changes to it and save it. So that, again, like I said, that's the direction WordPress is going. It's going towards a full-fledged builder, and it's going to allow you to do that. Now, another cool feature that it has is that it has this called patterns. It's called this patterns. Now, what are patterns? So patterns are like sets of blocks that are more or less design patterns in general. So this will allow me to do layouts with it. Like, for example, if I click on here, I'm going to have 2 columns of text here, and I'm going to have like a header here, which I could absolutely replace if I wanted to. So let's say I wanted to replace this, and I want to change this to, I don't want to change this to a pull quote. I want to change this. Can I change this to an image? Let's see. So if I go over here, in this case, it doesn't allow me to do that. I can't transform that because, again, I am tied into what the whatchamacallit, the block is limited to. So in this case, I can only do this. I can go ahead and do that. And I'm going to select this. Yeah, I can't do that. That's a bummer because I'm going to have to write a heading yes or yes. And since I don't like that, I got rid of it. And now I have that. Yeah, I have that. So I can't do that. So I'm bound to it. And now I have this nice little block with 2 little columns, and you can actually change your layouts and start, playing with it. Again, once you click that, this is an annoying thing that WordPress does sometimes. It's like it toggles this without me knowing. So color settings, again, do I want the color text? Oh, I'm actually in the button. Never mind. What happened to my block? Oh, here it is. Okay. So I go over here, I have the color settings over here. I can change that to, let's say, this color, and I can change this to, again, default. The default is that one. Now, some people may be asking, can I change the fonts over here? Am I stuck with these fonts? The answer is you can't yet. You're going to have to do it elsewhere, from elsewhere. You could perhaps do it in the appearance panel within your editor, or you're going to have to do some actual coding and insert your CSS and put your font out there. So this is the font that came with the theme. So you can't really do that on Gutenberg. Okay. So if we fiddle a little bit more, we put the plus sign, and we want to get out of here, and I want to do this. I want to see other patterns that I like. Like, for example, you have these two that is basically the same, but it has like an image at the top of it. For example, these two, it's text with buttons. This one is just two images side by side. So we have Don Quixote. I don't know if you guys read it. I don't know why they use that anyways. But you can go over here. I want to see the media library. What do I have? Well, I'm going to have me and specs, I guess we'll have to do. And edit this, and I'm going to have to put specs over here. And come on, specs. And here we go. So specs and me would kind of look the same if you think about it. But you know, I go over here, and that's exactly what I will get, and I'll have two images side by side. So patterns are pieces of software that you can actually start modifying, inserting into your editor, you know, and be on your way. Now, can you change? You can actually change those patterns, and you can actually, add them as a reusable block in case you want to add that to other pages as well. What this does behind the scenes, though, by the way, for those of you who are a little bit techie, it's that this adds a custom post type called blocks or something, and you can actually insert that post into the editing experience. That's really what it does behind the scenes. Now, I don't want to get too technical about it, but that's for future webinars. But that's pretty much what WordPress does. So if I want to move myself in specs over here, I'll just do it like that and be on my way. So patterns are a great way to do that. Now, I don't know this, but I'll, in case you are wondering, can you insert patterns like your own? Probably chances are you can, or you can just download any plugins that are going to do that functionality for you. Okay, so I think that's all I had to say in regards to blocks and patterns. My takeaway here is for you to look at them, fiddle with them, and understand them. So now we're going to do a really cool part on which I am going to do an actual layout. I'm going to do a design, and I'm going to do something cool with it. And let's see how that goes. So to do that, I'm going to get rid of all the stuff that I've done. Oh, one word to the wise, a few more things. So you have these little dudes over here. You have these little guys. What exactly is this? So what exactly is this? So let's go from left to right. So this one you already know. These are, when you click on this, it's going to toggle all the blocks that you have available for this particular theme. You can either do that like here, or you can go over here, and let's go all the way. You have this little arrow icon over here. So that's going to do both. You can do either one, either way. This little pencil over here, this is a really nice tool that most people don't seem to grasp at first. This is useful when there's a block within a block. And for those of you who have used Illustrator before in the past, know that when you group items and you click on that item, it's going to highlight the whole group. And you're going to have to double click on that in order to get to that specific graphic that you want. So this is a similar thing. So if you go select, this is going to select the image. See what I did there? I didn't select the whole block. I just selected the image. Okay. See, when I do this, it's going to select the whole block. But when I do this, it's going to select a specific image like so. So that's a really cool feature if you are having difficulties, like I don't know how your workflow is going to be, but let's say you have a block within a block within a block within a block. So you could use this little cool icon here to actually toggle a specific block within a block. So there you go. Boom. It's really, really direct. This little guy over here, this is good for people who are into the SEO stuff. They're into the and they need to know how many words they have, how many headings they have, etc., etc. Remember our SEO webinar where we discussed about the importance of finding a balance between the words, headings, and whatnot. So this is really a good tool for you to use. You just toggle that and you're going to look at this. This one over here, this is a really cool feature, because if you go over here and you're like, okay, I'm editing this and I'm like, okay, this looks good. Now I want to edit something at the top. So instead of doing and scrolling, and you have to like a gazillion scrolls to do, you can just go here. You can just go over here and you just go like this, and it's going to take you right into that paragraph. So this is like a scroll too. And if you look at this, these are all the blocks that I've created for this particular web page. So this is just like a navigator, so to speak. You can actually navigate to a specific block and be on your way. So this, if I click on it here, I'm going to go straight into the button I created. And you go like that, and there we go. I'm right into my button, it's selected, and I'm good to go. So this adds to your general speed of your workflow. You just click on that, do it like this, boom, ping, boom, boom, and next thing you know, you're doing a bunch of crazy stuff with your layouts and whatnot. So I thought you might you wanted to know that. The last thing I wanted you to look at is this over here, in case you want to change the visuals of your editor. If you want to have a spotlight where you focus on one block, etc., etc. I usually work screen mode. You also have the code editor, which you can toggle this, and this is going to open this, which I'm sure it doesn't look that fancy, and you would much prefer to use the visual editor. This is what happens behind the scenes for those who are interested. One of the criticisms Gutenberg receives is the fact that these blocks are stored as HTML comments. What WordPress engine does behind the scenes is that it parses those comments and it maps them into a specific block. That's more or less how it works behind the scenes. And this is what identifies the block, and these are its attributes. So as you are changing that, it's changing those comments. So that stuff gets stripped away when it's served towards the user. But all of this is saved within the database. This is actually saved within the database. So I've even heard people say, well, this is adding clutter to my database. I'm like, oh my God, it's just a few lines per block. I mean, you're not going to die from it, right? But again, I don't want to get into specifics about humans. So, but this is what the plugin, the stuff does behind the scenes. So as you can see, the gallery here, it has IDs that are these numerical values. So thinking of it from a developer point of view, these are the attachment IDs that are mapped to this specific gallery. And this attribute is the amount of columns that it takes. And this is the HTML that it actually comes up with. So as you can see, that's how Gutenberg works. So I'm going to exit for now. And for those of you who like pain, you can switch to the classic editor by pushing this button. So if we do that, I don't know what the result will be. If it's awful, well, and we can't undo that, well, we're going to have to restart from scratch. So do we want to do that? Yes. And now this is how it looks. As you can see, none of the fancy stuff. I'm no longer kissing specs. He's below me. So it looks god-awful. And as you can see, this is how cumbersome it actually is. My layout of 2 columns disappeared. Now I have 1. And yeah, this looks really bad. So let me go back to Gutenberg. I'm going to edit this. I'm sure it's going to be back into the same state, which it is. Okay. The tools, the block manager. This is all the reusable blocks that I have actually installed. As you can see, this is a custom post type called WP_block, which you can actually see here. That the techie guys, they're going to love this. And what it does is it actually imports custom post types to the actual editor. So it's a really nice, hefty way of mimicking that. I thought it was really cool. You can't see this on the menu. You can't really see it here. It's hidden from the menu. That's why most people don't know that. So going back into our thing over here, let's see what else. What's this block manager? Oh, this block manager. Yeah, this is not really important. So now it's time to do a layout, okay? So I'm going to delete all the stuff that I've actually done. Let's dump this. Let's dump this. Dump. How can I dump? I want to dump. dump, 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 dump. No, stay on page. I think there's an option over here, and yeah, remove. It's at the bottom. You can't see it because of my screen resolution, but you have that option. Here you go. Remove block. We're going to remove it. You're going to have it here, and I'm going to remove it as well. Boom, boom, remove. You won't be able to see it. Oh my God. Let me see. Let me minimize this a little. Remove block. Let's remove this. Remove block. Remove block. And did I say remove block? Yes, I did. So here. There we go. So now we're back into our previous state. I'm going to update this. I want to hit Control-0 so you can actually see my resolution again. And now, if I refresh over here, we're back to square one. So now, I am going to do a nice little hefty design. I'm going to do a cover image, which I absolutely love because I'm really addicted to it. And I am also going to do so I'm going to do that. So the layout is going to depend on your theme, right? So I'm using the 2020 theme and yours might not look the same. So I'm going to do a cover image. So I go over here and if I type in cover, let me see what happens. There we go. We have a nice little cover here. So I'm going to upload a file, which is this one. I absolutely love this. And what happens? You're not behaving, WordPress. Let's upload. Maybe it's because it's really heavy. There we go. Oh, that looks fantastic. So if I go over here, I want this to be full width. I want this to be full width. I want to have a hello, my name. Hi, I am Marco. It says at the top. So I am a WordPress design developer and designer out of Costa Rica. Yeah. All right. So right now I want to change this to a heading. I want to align this to the center and I want to toggle with this. Okay. So let's work with this first. Okay. We're going to have to use a fixed background or not. A fixed background means it's going to stick like that or is it not going to stick like that? So for me, I definitely want it to stick. Do I want to use an overlay? I would say yes, I do. I want to use an overlay. So what an overlay means is, do I want to use like a small color bit, on top of it in order to help with the, with the reading part of it? So I'm going to go with yes. This is too light for me. So I'm going to stick with this one, right? Yeah, I'm going to stick with this one. Okay, so I'm going to stick with this one. For font size, for font, I'm going to go with something that is, I don't know, yellowish, F2C744. This looks a little bit bad. So white will do. However, I'm going to insert a button. I'm going to insert a button over here. And it's going to be hire my services. My services. For now, this button is not going to act anything. It's not going to do anything. And hire my services. What the button will do is it's going to be an outline. It's going to be of color. Wait, the text is, I want it to be white. Custom color. FFF. There we go. Hire my services. And I'm going to have to switch it to my mouse now because I'm having a hard time selecting this. Let me see. Hire my services. Okay. Here we go. I want to align this to the center like this. Oh, beautiful. But I have changed my mind. I want to use a fill color and I want to use a color settings, text color, background color. I want to use a custom code of maybe BF2424. The reason I want to go with red is I like to have call to actions. I always like them to be intense color. So you want to, my recommendation is if you want that, great. If not, it's okay. Okay, hire my services. And the button over here is going to have a border radius of where's the border radius of 24 pixels, which is what I like. And I dig this. I dig this. So cool. I want to get rid of this. I don't need this. So now I'm going to say, I want to save this button because again, here we go. Add to reusable block. My red button. Save that. Okay, that's really cool, right? All right, cool. So if I scroll down over here, now I'm ready to add another block. So what am I going to discuss about? I'm going to discuss about myself. Yes, I'm Marco, blah, 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 blah. So, no, I am going to talk about what my services are. So what are my services? My services are going to be design, development, and let's say SEO, right? So I'm going to talk about those three. I'm just writing them down so you guys can look at. So now I want to go ahead here and say, okay, and there is a block design called columns over here. So we're going to add a few columns. So since I have 3, I'm going to go with 3 equal split 3 3 3. Let me hit that so you can actually take a look at. So here you have 50 50, which is 2, 30 70, which looks like a sidebar, I would say. And this is the same, it's just the opposite. This is if you want to divide it by 3 equal columns. And this is if you want to have 3 columns, but you want to have the one at the center be with extra emphasis. So I'm going to go with this one because it's just 3 services that I want to use and I want them to be split equal. So in here, I can add a block within a block, right? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to my gallery and I'm going to use media library and I am going to add this one. Yeah, this one. So you'll forgive me for not coloring them correctly, but I misjudged that. So H3 design. Okay, I'm going to use design. I'm going to align this to the center. I'm going to go here. I'm going to align center as well. I design. I do great. I do great and lovely design. Lovely design. Boy, not free. No. So I do great and lovely design for you. No free. No free. So I go over here, I align this to the center. It looks gorgeous. But I'm noticing that perhaps this little guy over here, and again, this is the whole thing that I said about selecting blocks because I wanted to select the whole block and I can't. This is why, it's still in diapers because it's a little cumbersome because I want to have the ability for this to go full width and I just can't do that. So I'm going to have to undo that. And there we go. There we go. You see that? You saw that? Oh my God, this is so, yeah, it's a little annoying. You see, now I have it here. Vertically aligned in the middle. But what I'm interested in is this. I want full width. Exactly. This is exactly what I want. So I couldn't do that and it's annoying. So I'm going to have to start over again. So I want to add an image. I want to add an image over here. I want to use the media library. I want to use this little icon. And I want to go over here and I design. No. Design. So I use design. I want to change this to a heading. It's going to be of level 3, and I'm going to align this to the center. I want to align you to the center, and I want to add a new block, paragraph. I do custom branding design. as well as illustrations. Okay, I like this. So I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to center this. Okay, this looks fantastic. Let's say design. I want to change this color to change this custom color to 364 C59. Okay, that looks good. Now, what I could do is, can I duplicate this block? Because you have the option to do that. Let's see. Yes, you can. So, and if I go over here and move it here, ta-da, I just did that. Ta-da, and I'm going to duplicate this as well. Duplicate, and you little fellow, you are going to come right here. There you go. So now I have all three. Good to go, eh? Looks good. So, development. I do code that sometimes breaks and sometimes doesn't. Sometimes it works. All right, so I do that as well. I actually do that. So I'm going to replace this. I'm going to open the media library and I'm going to go with this guy. This is development, right? Yeah. And last but not least, the design one. I'm going to replace that, right? And I'm going to open the media library and this is the SEO one. SEO. Want to rank #1 for Google? I won't promise you. Exactly. So that looks really cool. So I'm like, well, okay, well, let's save this before power goes out or something. So I go over here and I refresh that, and now yeah, it looks good. Looking good. Now you may be wondering, why can't I edit this and why can't I edit this? That is because this is out of the scope. This is outside the theme editor. So remember where I said that WordPress is going to change in the future. It's going to be a editor, like a whole editor. It's getting there. Like you're going to have the ability to edit this. You're going to have the ability to edit the menus all within the editor. But we're still not up to that point yet. So now I want to add a button here. I did a button, didn't I? My red button. Hide my services like that. Oh, that looks fantastic. So now I am good to go with the second part. I want to add another block. And now I want to go over here and I'm looking at this and I like this medium text. So medium text is going to be, first of all, I want to go full width. Second, I want to show media on the right or show media on the left. Media on the right. So I'm going to use the media library and I'm going to put this. And here I'm going to say a bit about me. A bit about me. A bit about me. Don't be fooled by the looks. Be fooled by the looks. I am bad. Like that. Okay. Okay, and like this, I'm going to change this to a heading. Let's do H2. Yeah, looks good. Looks good to me. I am bad. But no, seriously. I actually like what I do. I actually love what I do. I code, design, do SEO, do webinars. I'm a father. I'm a father, and the rest of the time, it's for basic human functions. Let's say, for example, I said, okay, I want this to be italics. I am back. So now I want to add another button because I add buttons everywhere because I want you to hire me and I want to make sure you know where to hire me. So you can hire me like this and look at this. Look at this. I mean, if you're thinking about changing from, so yeah, I like myself. Yeah, I'm looking good. So, but I'm saying from a design perspective, I don't like the button on on the center. I like it to be on the left because what did I just do there? Never mind. No, I can't. Well, let's not get stuck here for now. Let me grab this little guy over here. I wanted to align it to the left, but I can't. It's okay. I'm not going to get stuck to it. So let's say I'm like, okay, this looks really good. What should I do now? So I said I was going to talk about myself, about the work I've done. Okay, so the work I've done. Let's see. Can we use a layout that is a pattern? In my case, I would say no. No. So I'm going to go like this. Some of the work I have done. I hope you like it. Like it and enjoy it. Enjoyed it as much as I did. So we're going to go like this. We're going to change this to a heading over here. We're going to, hey, don't do that. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. Let's do a block. Let's change this to a heading. I would say heading 1, maybe? No. I'm going to change this to heading 2. Some of the work I've done. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And now I want to go ahead and I want to go over here. I go to media. Let's see. Or let's see, what should we do? Yes, we should. Yeah, we're going to go with the gallery now. But I'm going to go with a full width gallery and I'm going to add maybe 4 images, right? So yeah. So with this, I'm going to go with Photoshop a bit, okay? I know this is out of the scope of this webinar. Just don't pay attention. Now, the reason I'm going with Photoshop is because I want the images to be equal width and height. So if I use images off the internet, I am going to have problems with that because I won't be able to. They're going to be misbehaving. So you're going to have to, don't pay attention to that part that much. So let's say I want to work with, I would say 240 by 2. Yeah, 240 is too small. Let's do 360 by 360. So like that. Okay. So let me put Photoshop. Why does it look so big? I don't know. Maybe it's because of my screen. Right. I have a huge screen. And now it's all tiny because usually that's something I learned from giving webinars. You guys don't have my huge screen, so you guys are not going to be able to see as good as I will. So I have my Photoshop stuff ready, and now let's say we go over here, and let's just do a bunch of stuff I've worked on. Let's do this. And let's take a screenshot of this. Wait, let's slow it a little bit. Let's do it like that. Okay. Other sites I've worked for. Wow, that's a tough one. Oh, I have this one. So let's do this one. And lawyer over here. Looks good. Okay. And now I'm going to open XD so I can actually put some of the projects that I'm currently working with. It's just that online. Okay, I have IntraGreens. Let's do this. IntraGreens.com. I said 4, did I? Yeah, okay. Open to IntraGreens. This is all the stuff I've done. Hey. And I'm going to close XD because I don't need it. So let's do that. Like this. And I'm going to use this old laptop. Use this focus site I did. That's wrong. Okay, so this is the poker site. Don't be fooled by the whole gibberish. It's actually Turkish. So I'm saving this because now I want to go with Photoshop and I want to downsize them. They want it to look right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you can skip this. You can actually fast forward this. It's not part of the webinar. But what I'm going to do is I want to crop these images for them to look okay. All right. All right. So let's select this. Like that. Okay, so let's see that. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and I'm going to save this as work 1. Save this as work 1. Okay, over here. Looks good. Let's second job would be this one. All right. Now we're going to go like this. Lawyer over here. Close you over here. Crop you over there. And it's going to put like this. Choose. It's not the best, but it'll do. And it's fast. So work 2. I'm giving you tips on my workflow. So work 2. Okay, and now let's say this one. I'm going to drag this into Photoshop. Do like this. That command I'm doing is basically I want to split Photoshop into different images. So welcome to Intergreens. Like this, go like that. Okay. All right. Like this. Let's do like that. We're not here for design awards, eh? So work 3, it looks solid enough. Work 3, like that. And the last one is going to be the poker site. I've worked on a lot of projects, but it's just that sometimes you want to show your best, eh? I'm going to put the hoodie dude here. Hoodie dude. And hoodie dude is going to be like that. Actually, this looks nice. So, hey. Good. And work 4. So now I have images that are of equal height and width. So now I'm ready to go back into WordPress. So you go away, please. You go away. And let's upload them. So let's hit upload and let's select these 4. Cha-cha-cha-cha-ching. And okay, I only have the problem that I want this to be full width. No. That's okay. I only have the problem that this is doing this, and this I absolutely dislike. So I'm gonna have to stick to 3. Unfortunately, that's another shortcoming of this. Yeah. No. Or maybe, let's do that. Maybe this is going to be, yeah. That's odd. Why did this? Well, I'm going to have to delete this one because it's not behaving as I would like to. And so let's do it like this, like that. And now a buttons, my red button like this, hire my services. So I'm going to go like that. And refresh over here. Some of the work I've done. Some of the work I've done. That looks good. It's not as good as I would do it if I would design it, but you know, it's fine. It looks good. It looks decent. And now let's add some blog posts. First of all, let me see if I actually have some. Let me go back over here and let's see what the posts are. Have you right at my trip? Yeah, I have everything. So let's see if Gutenberg has the ability to add straight from the blog. Let's think about it. Okay, let's see how this looks. Blog. No. Post. Latest posts over here. So this is going to fetch my latest post, but this looks a little bad, you know, and I'm kind of like saying, okay, I don't like this. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to repeat this layout over here, but I'm going to invert it. So what I'm going to do is, or let's look at patterns that are available here, and where I can say, okay, this looks good. Yeah, no. I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with, let's see, media and text will have to do. So media is going to have, I'm going to repeat an image for purposes of this webinar. So I'm going to repeat this graphic here, which is absolutely a lovely piece of work. And now here, I'm going to add a block that is going to be post. Latest post. And I'm going to move this guy right here. Come here. Lovely. My post. My latest post. If you think I'm crazy, you are right. So we're going to move that, and let's align this to the left. Let's change this to a heading. I want to use H3, and I want to move you up. Move up, and there you go. You're right. I don't like this color. Like, for example, I want this to be behave like a list, maybe. This is not a group. I want this to be like a, yeah, I guess I can't change it, but okay. Ooh, this looks nice. So I'm going to go with that. And just so I'm okay with it, I want to post content, display author name. Let's see. No. Display post date. No. Display featured image. No. Do I have the ability, number of columns, number of items? 1, 2, I'm going to do 3, which is cleaner. Content is king, advanced. The only thing I don't have is, and let me change this to here. Hey, yeah, I don't have the ability to change that. So, okay. That's fine. Maybe, yeah, I don't have the ability. So I wanted to change the color of this, but I just don't, I'm not able to. So as you can see here, it doesn't allow me, like the settings for color, it doesn't allow me. So, but I still like it. I'm still okay with it. Yeah. If you think, yeah, cool. And I want to add a button here because I want you to hire me, and I'm really hoping that you will. And yeah, that looks good. I'm going to update this and refresh over here. This looks great. Okay, as you can see, I'm doing a basic layout. It's still a basic, but it's a nice looking layout. I mean, it's not that bad for for hiring your clients a lot of money. So the last thing I want to do is I want to have a hire me stuff, like form. So I think in previous webinars that we did a form, if I'm not mistaken. So let me go back into my dashboard over here. Yeah, we have it. It's contact right here. So contact form 1. Let's see what that was all about. Contact, your name, email, subject, your message. That looks good to me. Hire me. Yeah, that looks good to me. So go back into our posts. Pages. Go back into my thing over here. Scroll all the way down, and what's happening with you? Okay. Now scroll all the way down, down. And now, and I noticed this, if I go over here, I think I saw it right here. You see, you contact form 7, and I think it was this one, right? Now, this does have the nuisance that I can't see the actual fields, but I'm gonna have to go with it. I'm gonna hit update over here. I want to view this page. Open this over here. Hi, I'm Marco. Blah 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 blah. not the best, but what I want to do is I want to add a blog heading, hire my services. My services. I promise I will answer. Answer eventually. Okay, cool. So I have this over here. I'm gonna align this to the center. I'm going to hit update. And yeah, hire my services. I promise I will answer eventually. So with that said, we just created a nice looking layout. I mean, it's really, really nice, and we fiddle with it, and it's a good looking site. I mean, it's not my best work, but I'm really proud of it because we did it in less than an hour. And this, some of the stuff you can actually do like on the go. You can just save those components. You can actually save them, and you can reuse them everywhere else. And like I said, as WordPress matures into a stable platform, the Gutenberg editor, that is, into a more stable editing experience, the options to do more stuff are going to be there more and more and more. So I'm really, really happy with it. And one of the things, now let's go back into my presentation. And I want to give you a few more pro tips, okay? The first pro tip I want to give you is the use of this backslash thing. I haven't used it because I didn't want to use it while I was using it. I wanted to tell you guys how it works. So basically, it's this. So if I hit the backslash on my computer, watch what happens. This is going to immediately open a few of the blocks that I have available. This is for those of you who have worked with Slack. It's the same command, really, if you want to like say something or do something with it. So the reason I say this is because I don't know if you guys saw me using Photoshop. I use the keyboard a lot. It takes a lot of time. It's a part of my workflow in order to do things faster, as opposed to be scrolling or moving my mouse around. So if I do this, it's going to be much faster. You guys are going to absolutely love it. The second pro tip I want you guys to have is to use the keyboard. Now, you can do the same as I just did if you hit Shift-Alt-H on Windows or Option-Control-H on a Mac. Since I'm on a Mac, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Option-Control-H. And if I do that, this is going to actually disregard what I said. This is going to open all the commands that are available for Gutenberg, right? So again, if you want to memorize these, if you want to not memorize them, but if you want to learn more about them, you can go ahead and do them. Now, again, I usually start learning them as I'm using the application, because I will have a workflow predefined. And if there's something that's going to allow me to do things faster, absolutely, I'm all for it. So these shortcodes will flow with you as you are moving, as you're using, the editor more and more and more. The reuse of blocks, we covered that, but you can pretty much, I got this question asked in the meetup, can you select everything and use that as a block? The answer is yes, you can, but you got to be really cool about, as you can see here, I'm selecting everything, and you can go ahead here and you can add this to your reusable blocks. So you can change you can add the whole thing, like the whole layout. You can go ahead and add the whole layout if you want. It's up to you. And you just go ahead and add it on a different page if you want. So let's leave here. Leave page. I don't want to save it. So if I want to add a test page, test. And now let's do the whole layout over here. And booyah, you have it all here, right? What I don't know what's going to happen is I see this constraint, like the width. So let's see what happens when I open this. Actually, it doesn't. Looks pretty good. So that's like a cool hack for you to copy and paste this stuff and start working on other projects. So you don't have to redo all the stuff that I just did. You just copy this and you just change things around. Like, hey, I'm going to change this image here, change the button, change this, change that. So again, those of you who come from a DV or Elementor background, this will look familiar, this will feel familiar, and this is going to feel absolutely right. The navigator we discussed. Again, you touch over here. In this case, I have a reusable block. The reason for that is I added everything into a block. If I want to unblock this, I think you can do that over here. And before you know it, there it is. So if you guys want to do it again, you select the whole thing, you right click, and you just convert it to a regular block. So what it does is it's going to separate all that and it's going to add it as a component. So now I could actually use the navigator and I can go ahead and go all the way down like so and start doing my magic like that. So again, that's another pro tip I have for you. Selector edit mode, we discussed that. If we go select, I'm going to target the image specifically and not the whole block. So this is really useful if you want to do that. I have old content. If you have old content, fine, that's fine. WordPress can split or do everything in a block for you. I think I have something old over here. So let's go back and let's say I have this. Yeah, so I have this that looks awful, with this. And let's add a media file here. Let's add the polka dot. Let's add the polka dot over here and let's update that. And let's now change this to a block editor. So I have the block editor over here, but you see over here, you have this classic thing, right? You saw that, right? You saw that. You have that. So this is the classic editor. So if I want to separate all this, you can transform this and convert to blocks. You have this option over here. It's just going to magically grab all that stuff and it's going to convert it to block. Now it's going to do its best guess to do so. It's going to do its best job to do so. But again, it's way faster doing this than grabbing each one and making a block for it and just copying and pasting along. So I thought you might want to know that pro tip. And with that said, I think we are done. Yes, we are absolutely done. I forgot to add a thank you for participating slide. Yeah, I should have put this guy on skip slide. So I gotta do this. It's part of my tradition in webinars. So thank you for our webinar. Thank you very much. Do follow us on Twitter, which is GreenGeeks, and stay tuned for more stuff. And I sincerely hope you have both more questions and topics for future webinars. So now Anna is going to take control.
Marco, there's a question in the Q&A and two questions from Dean in the chat.
Okay. First, let's look at the Q&A. First, let me change my resolution because I can't see the questions because of my Mac. So that's a good question. I'm going to read it out loud so that people can hear it. The question is from Frank Matthew. He's asking, will Gutenberg eliminate the need for other builders such as Elementor or Beaver Builder? That is a great question. The reason some people get annoyed with this question, and I think it's not right. They think it's like we're predicting the future here. And I look at it from the perspective that, do you want to invest a lot of time using something that it's going to eventually fall apart? It's not going to, it's not going to work anymore. So like, let's say Frank is going to, invest his time in Beaver Builder, and Beaver Builder is going to get crushed by Elementor, and all his knowledge with Beaver Builder is just not going to be useful. So when people ask these questions, that's the way I interpret them, and I think it's a great question. I personally think that they are going to coexist, especially true for the big ones, such as Elementor and DV. Beaver, I'm not sure what its fan base is, but Elementor is huge and DV Builders is huge. So I think they will coexist. And despite WordPress's efforts to make this experience as best as possible, the fan base that these two plugins have is just too large for WordPress to chip something out of it. Now, with that said, you shouldn't disregard. You should have a fail-safe. Always have a fail-safe. I always say this in webinars and in life. You should always hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So have it in your backseat to know a little bit about Gutenberg and be able to do sites with it. I think part of the blessings this pandemic has brought me has been the ability to learn new stuff, which is true for webinars and also for my workflow. This allows me to have a fail-safe plan in case something happens. In case I don't know. In case in the future I might not be here, or I don't know. But the thing is, those skill sets will allow you to have a backup plan, and this is especially true in times such as these. So I would definitely do both. I'm really happy to have done this webinar because, like I said, I'm a code guy. I'm a guy who executes code. I'm not a guy who drags and configures stuff like this, but I still think it's a nice looking website. So maybe for future projects, I'm thinking, okay, if the client is on a limited budget, I may be able to offer them a custom site that is simple to use and it's going to look fantastic. So yeah.
Thank you. And then there's Dean. He asks two questions.
So will pictures in post will show up properly WordPress as chosen in the picture setting? So will pictures in post will show up? Well, I'm not sure what your question. Will pictures in post will show? So will pictures in post will show up properly WordPress as chosen in the picture setting? Now I'm going to take a shot in the dark here, and I'm going to have to say this is going to be dependent on your cascading styling sheet for that particular theme. How pictures are going to be handled. So I can't really answer that question like that if I don't know what the CSS scenario is going to be. Okay, and Dean asks also, can you show the block editor in a post rather than a page? Absolutely. Like a news article? Absolutely. You can absolutely use this block editor anywhere within your WordPress installation. You can use it on pages. You can use it on posts. You can use it on custom post types. If you followed previous webinars, you can create your own custom post types. So that will allow you to create them as well. And here's the cool part about it. Widgets are about to become also Gutenberg ready. You know, those little widgets that you have and that you can drag and drop on pages, they are going to be Gutenberg ready soon. I think that was in the pipeline for either this year or the first semester of next year. But like I said, everything is moving towards that direction. Menus are going to be Gutenberg ready, and before you know it, you're going to have a bunch of blocks within your editor, and you're just going to be configuring and saving this stuff. So that is the direction that this is moving. So to re-emphasize the previous question, absolutely learn about Gutenberg because it's going to be flawless. It's going to be a quick editing experience. And one of the key advantages that Gutenberg has that Elementor doesn't, I'm not sure, I may be incorrect here, is obviously the community factor behind it. There's going to be a lot of people developing plugins and solutions for Gutenberg, whereas Elementor is a closed system that offers its features based on a development team or their own team that they have. And if you put the community versus the team, the manpower that the community has is just gargantuan. Okay.
Thank you. More questions in the Q&A?
Yes. Zera Aideen asks, if you start using Gutenberg with your existing site, will be plugins and widgets work, or do you need to start over with them? I missed it. Yeah, you missed it if you covered it. Now, this is going to depend on your theme and your plugins. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. So to ask the question again a little bit slow. So Zira Aideen is asking, if you start using Gutenberg with your existing site, will the plugins and widgets work, or do you need to start over with them? I would say the plugins, I would say it could be vice versa, actually, that the theme is not going to work as it was prior to your Gutenberg transition. The plugins and widgets will continue to work. What might not work is the theme itself. It's not going to perhaps have the same behavior because of Gutenberg. But like I said previously, the WordPress team is doing a better job at handling this type of things, because I mean I think it's a subtle way of saying, listen, we screwed up and this is how we're handling it. Gutenberg editor, and let me share my screen really quickly because I can show you the editor itself. Let me go back here. I'm sorry if it looks really small. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. So if you go over here, oh no, I'm actually in here. Why should I go? So if you go in here, and let me move Anna a little bit. So if you move here, if you go over here, you can have a shortcode like this. You have the shortcode over here, and you can actually add the shortcode of what it does. Your shortcode here. So the team behind Gutenberg is doing it's handling these type of things, because that was like the biggest pet peeve that people had with Gutenberg, was the fact that shortcodes weren't working anymore. They weren't being parsed anymore, but now they are. So I shouldn't, in theory, there shouldn't be a problem with it. All right. The third question is by Ethan. If someone's website was recently hacked in a shared hosting platform, is it possible that other domains could have been infected as well? Well, this is not really a Gutenberg question, but I'll answer it for you gladly. So if someone's website was recently hacked on a shared hosting platform, okay, first of all, are those domains that you mentioned on that same hacked account? If so, the answer is yes. But if the other domains are on a other shared account, okay, they are, okay, then you are definitely at risk. Yes. If all those domains are on that same shared account and you have all your eggs in one basket, then absolutely, yeah, they could be infected as well, because they are in the same box and directory, and that could spread out. Okay. Sorry, the question disappeared. But if the answer was no, it depends on your hosting platform. Like, for example, we at GreenGeeks, we do it's not pretty. We do a very good job at isolating that stuff for you, so that you don't run a risk if, let's say, your neighbor is misbehaving. That's one of the key things that I absolutely love about GreenGeeks, is the fact that we protect the sharing environment out of each shared hosting account.
Thank you. Any other questions? Anyone? Otherwise, we're going to go to the raffle, and then we're going to close this down because we're almost in the 2 hours.
I actually see a question here from Wendy. I have been using Beaver Builder since before Gutenberg, wondering about enabling blocks now and what the implications will be. Oh, that's not.
Oh, it was a comment.
Yeah, that is a comment. I'm sorry. So you go ahead. Again, guys, I would like to, before Anna does this raffle, I would like to reiterate, if you guys are interested in topics, specific topics about future webinars, do put them here in the chat box, because we want to expand this, and we want to make sure that people are happy with the ongoing webinars that we are currently doing here. So yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna.
Oh, that's nice.
Spin.
Oh, that's really nice.
All right, let's see who's the first winner.
Is my name there? Is my name there?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's really nice. I want to see that.
Okay, so Kate, and I will contact everybody separately, under separate cover to set this up. And Karen, okay.
Oh, that's really nice.
Okay, I will get in touch with Karen and Kay to set up the accounts or any other questions. And for everybody, next Saturday we have another webinar. It's on speed, right? On how to get your WordPress site faster.
Right. Yeah, the site, not the webinar. So
no, not the webinar. That's 2 hours. Sorry.
Yeah. That's still 2 hours. I think I went slow today. I spoke really slow, and I've had a great time. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, everybody. I will we will send next week a recording of this, a link to the recording, and I'll set up. I'll connect with you separately. And like Marco said, if you have any ideas, anything you want us to cover, you can always. My email is in all the all the emails that you received is my email address. You can send me a note, anything, like. We're always there. We want you to be happy. So we want to cover things that you're interested in. So please be in touch with us. Okay. And then hopefully we see you next week. And happy Halloween. Right?
Yes, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Week.
See you
Bye-bye.
next week.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.